Everyone knows Bad Chad Hiltz as the genius who turns junk into million-dollar masterpieces. But here's what they don't tell you. The viral Bugatti build that launched his entire TV career? That wasn't his idea. Behind every episode, every successful build, every dollar that flows through Hiltz Auto Co., there's a former college soccer player who orchestrated the whole thing. While Chad was welding scrap metal in rural Nova Scotia, she was filming, posting, and building an empire from her phone. The craziest part? Most fans have no clue she even exists. This is the real story of Jolene MacIntyre. Picture this, 2016, a tiny pool hall in New Minas, Nova Scotia. Jolene MacIntyre had just graduated with a commerce degree and was working tables, probably wondering what came next. Then Chad Hiltz rolled up in the Green Goblin, this wild custom car that looked like it drove straight out of a comic book. He walked in with one simple request. Could she hang up a flyer for his car show? Most people would have said sure and forgotten about it. But Jolene was different. She walked outside with her friend to check out this insane vehicle, and that's when Chad really noticed her. Not the car, her. What happened next shows exactly the kind of patience and strategy that would later build an empire. Chad started sending her messages, kind ones, persistent ones. For 6 straight months, Jolene didn't respond. Think about that, half a year of radio silence. But Chad didn't give up, and when she finally agreed to coffee, something clicked. They started dating in November 2016, and almost immediately, she joined Green Goblin Customs as shop manager. Here's what makes this fascinating. Jolene didn't just have a commerce degree. She'd also studied kinesiology and was a standout midfielder for the SMU Huskies soccer team. She understood teamwork, strategy, and how to win. And she was about to apply every single one of those skills to transform an unknown car builder into a household name. But the brilliance of her plan wouldn't become clear until she made one calculated move. When Chad asked Jolene what car she wanted him to build, she didn't pick something simple. She chose Ralph Lauren's 1938 Bugatti Type 57 SC, one of the most iconic, complex automobiles ever created, valued at $40 million. Most people would have laughed. Chad said yes. But here's where Jolene's genius really shows. While Chad was cutting, welding, and fabricating this impossible replica from scrap materials, Jolene was doing something nobody expected. She pulled out her phone and started filming everything. Not just the finished product, the entire process. Every struggle, every breakthrough, every ridiculous moment of turning chicken coop parts into a luxury automobile. She posted these videos on Facebook and Instagram, documenting the whole journey. And people went absolutely crazy. They'd never seen anything like it. This guy in rural Canada building a $40 million car from literal garbage. The content was raw, authentic, and completely addictive. This wasn't just a girlfriend supporting her man's hobby. This was calculated brand building from someone who understood exactly how social media worked. Jolene later admitted she spent an entire year investing her time in self-promoting what Chad does, deliberately trying to attract customers interested in one-off custom builds. The videos eventually caught the attention of Skylotted's Love Productions and Discovery Channel executives. They reached out with an offer that would change everything. But here's the wild part. Jolene later said one of her biggest regrets was not starting their YouTube channel earlier. She knew the power of video content before most people in the automotive industry even had Instagram. And that forward-thinking approach was about to pay off in ways nobody could predict. When Discovery came calling in late 2018, most people would have celebrated. Jolene saw problems nobody else noticed. Their shop was basically just her and Chad working out of Green Goblin Customs. They didn't have a crew, didn't have infrastructure, and definitely weren't ready for television production schedules. So, what did she do? She built a team from scratch. Jolene personally recruited Chad's friends who were skilled enough to handle the work and crazy enough to deal with TV cameras and impossible deadlines. Some of their original partners backed out at the last minute, but she adapted, restructured, and made it happen anyway. Then came her role that viewers never fully see. While Chad's out in the shop creating automotive art, Jolene's running the entire business operation. She manages budgets, keeps builds on schedule, handles all their social media and marketing, coordinates with the production company, and still finds time to jump in and help with the actual builds when needed. Chad himself admitted during an interview, "She's smarter than I am, and I can build a car. That's why we've teamed up." According to her Instagram, she's not just the manager. She's listed as co-founder of Hiltz Auto Co. That's a crucial distinction most people miss. This isn't Chad's business that she helps run. This is their business that she architected from the ground up. Bad Chad Customs premiered on January 1st, 2019, reaching 90 million viewers on Discovery Channel. The show was an instant hit, generating buzz across the automotive world. But success brought a new crisis that threatened to destroy everything they'd built. The show exploded. Fans loved it. The ratings were solid. Everything seemed perfect. Then Jolene discovered a nightmare scenario. They couldn't make money using the name Green Goblin Customs. Licensing issues tied to the comic book character meant their brand, the one they'd spent years building, was legally toxic for merchandise and commercial expansion. Most small businesses would have collapsed under this kind of pressure. The show was already airing, they had momentum, and their entire brand identity was suddenly unusable. But Jolene didn't panic. She saw an opportunity. She immediately rebranded everything to Hiltz Auto Co. The new name directly connected to Chad, making it personal and impossible to challenge legally. More importantly, she restructured their entire business model. Instead of just being a custom shop, they became a brand. She developed merchandise lines, hats, t-shirts, jackets, and created an online store that could actually generate revenue. The rebrand also positioned them for international expansion. Hiltz Auto Co. sounded professional, scalable, and wasn't tied to any geographic location or pop culture reference. It was brilliant crisis management that most MBA graduates couldn't have executed under pressure. She later explained on their Facebook page that building a complete brand separate from just being a business was one of her primary goals, and she achieved it. Today, they have over 1 million followers across Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. They attend car shows internationally. They've become recognized names in the automotive world. The woman who started by filming Bugatti builds on her phone had turned a potential disaster into a multi-platform empire. But the TV show itself wasn't quite what viewers thought it was. In early 2023, Jolene did something most reality TV personalities never do. She pulled back the curtain. During a Facebook Q&A session, she admitted that Bad Chad Customs worked very differently from what viewers saw on screen. First revelation: the customers weren't real. Well, they were real people, but they weren't actually paying customers. Discovery Channel funded the builds and covered all materials. Jolene's job was to recruit people from their small Nova Scotia town to appear as customers because the Los Angeles-based production company didn't know the area. Second revelation: the cars never leave. Despite the show presenting these as customer builds, Chad refused to sell them. He considers each restoration a piece of art and keeps them in storage. They literally had to purchase additional land just to build storage facilities for all the vehicles they'd created. Third revelation: the deadlines and drama, those were real. While the customer aspect was formulated, her word, the pressure, the time constraints, and the actual car-building process were completely authentic. Chad and the crew genuinely had to deliver finished vehicles under intense time pressure. Jolene emphasized that despite the reality TV formatting, they did everything possible to keep the actual craft real. The builds weren't faked, the techniques weren't staged, and Chad's creativity was genuinely on display. The show was theatrical, but the art was authentic. This honesty is classic Jolene, transparent about the business side while protecting the integrity of the work. She understood that fans cared more about the builds than the manufactured storylines, and she was right. But there's one storyline fans keep asking about that still hasn't happened. August 12, 2017, Chad proposed to Jolene, and she said yes. Fans were thrilled. The ring photos hit Instagram. Everyone assumed a TV wedding was inevitable. That was over 7 years ago. They're still engaged. In multiple interviews, Jolene's explained they haven't had time to plan the wedding because of how busy the shop has been. In 2018, she told the Valley Harvester newspaper They were too consumed with the show's launch. In 2020, during Bad Chad Customs' second season, she mentioned hoping to finish her Bugatti to use as their wedding car. In 2023, she was still talking about wedding plans in the future tense. The pattern is clear. The business always comes first. And honestly, that might be exactly what makes their partnership work. They're not just romantic partners, they're co-founders of a growing empire. The relationship isn't separate from the business, it's integrated into everything they do. Chad's been married before. He has kids from previous relationships, including a son named Colton, born in 1998. There's a significant age gap between him and Jolene. He was born in 1971, she in 1989. None of that seems to matter to either of them. What matters is what they're building together. Recent social media posts show they're still going strong, still creating content, still attending car shows worldwide. The wedding might happen eventually, or maybe they've realized that the legal paperwork matters less than the empire they've constructed. Either way, fans keep watching, keep asking, and keep hoping to see that wedding episode someday. But Jolene's got bigger plans than just being someone's wife. So here's the truth about Jolene MacIntyre. She's not just Bad Chad's fiancé or his shop manager. She's the architect who took raw talent rotting in rural Nova Scotia and turned it into an international brand. She filmed the content, built the audience, structured the business, navigated the legal crisis, and created a multi-platform empire, all before turning 35. Chad builds the cars, but Jolene built everything else. Without her vision, strategic mind, and relentless execution, Bad Chad would still be welding in obscurity. The real secret weapon of Bad Chad Customs was never hidden. We just weren't paying attention. Retry?